Warm greetings, Code Monkeys and fellow VEDSies, and welcome back to CodedLockFilms. It is Q&A time at last, and this year the Q&A is being split into 4 separate videos. The first of the Q&A videos actually went up on the 21st, so if you haven't seen that yet, please feel free to watch that. This video will be dedicated to all of the questions submitted to me that have short answers. The next video will be the ones submitted to me that have long answers, and the one after that will be the questions submitted to everyone else. I would normally be reading the questions myself using a stereotypical British accent, but now that we have Rupert, he will be managing that task for me. That being said, bring on the short questions.
What are your favorite modern cartoons?
I don't really watch any modern cartoons. I just don't really watch very much TV at all anymore.
Have you ever watched Gravity Falls, Rick and Morty, or Steven Universe?
I have not, but I've heard good things.
What's the worst mainstream anime you've ever seen?
That's sort of a hard question to answer because it depends how you define the word mainstream, but the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that I really didn't like Inuyasha much at all.
Have you watched any recent anime?
Not really.
Do you watch Yu-Gi-Oh! The Abridged Series?
Frequently.
Have you read the Yu-Gi-Oh! Manga?
I've read bits and pieces here and there, but not really enough upon which to base a solid opinion.
What do you think of the subtitled episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh!
I haven't seen much, but what I have seen, I've enjoyed.
What's your favorite Disney movie?
Honestly, Disney owns so many properties at this point and makes so many different kinds of movies that I honestly couldn't pick just one thing as my favorite.
Have you read any really bad YA novels?
Actually, come to think of it, no. I really haven't. Pretty much every YA novel I've ever read has been one I've enjoyed. Go figure.
Have you seen Sword Art Online?
Nope.
If you had to pick one musical that you would get to perform in, what would it be?
I would love to be either Gaston or the Beast in the stage adaptation of Beauty and the Beast.
Do you have any cheese at all?
What?
What book do you think should never be adapted into film?
You can make a good movie out of anything. It's just more difficult in some cases.
What do you look for in a good book/movie?
Engaging characters, interesting plot. Pretty much everything follows from there.
Favorite TV show?
Daria.
Game of Thrones or Breaking Bad?
Haven't seen Breaking Bad, so I can't really answer this one.
Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings?
Why choose?
Have you seen the YouTube series Lost in Adaptation?
I have not.
Why is Batman Beyond Return of the Joker your favorite Batman movie?
There's a lot of reasons, and honestly, explaining them and going into them all with the amount of time and care that the subject matter deserves would take an entire review in and of itself, which I will probably do at some point.
What's your favorite kind of pizza?
Either Chicago-style deep dish sausage or New York-style cheese. It's kind of a big exercise in contrast there, I know.
What's cooler, bow ties, fezzes, or bunk beds?
None of those things are inherently cool. They are made cool or not cool by the person utilizing them.
Who's your favorite Disney prince?
Either Flynn Rider or Eric. I like them both for very, very different reasons.
What was your favorite ride at Universal Studios / Islands of Adventure?
Hogwarts and Gringotts, respectively.
If you were a soda, what soda would you be?
Puma-Cola.
What are your thoughts on Captain America Civil War?
Yes!
Have you considered a Let's Play of Totally Accurate Battle Simulator?
I am not going to do that. Games with weird physics frustrate me more than amuse me, and at this point, Totally Accurate Battle Simulator has been pretty much done.
Have you seen any of the Fate series?
Nope.
If you could have a class as a servant in a battle royale for the Holy Grail, who would you pick and why? Your options are Saber, Lancer, Archer, Berserker, Caster, Rider, or Assassin.
I don't really understand this question. I feel like this is a reference to something, and I'm just not getting it.
What are your thoughts on Arrow?
Haven't seen it.
The Flash?
Haven't seen it.
Supergirl?
Surprisingly good, actually.
What musicals have you seen recently?
I guess that depends on how you define recently, but the two most recent musicals that I experienced on stage were The Book of Mormon and Seussical, and I enjoyed both of them.
What was your favorite experience watching a musical?
I once saw a production of an indie musical called Hero, and I really, really loved that one because it was basically tailor-made to appeal to just about every single one of my sensibilities.
Favorite musical mashup?
I've got a lot of them, linked to a playlist in the video description.
What play do you want to see?
Most of the things I want to see on stage are musicals. However, you specifically asked about plays, so I will just say that I really want to experience more live Shakespeare. The only two productions I've ever seen of Shakespeare plays are Othello and Romeo and Juliet, and I'd really like to experience more.
What are your favorite plays?
Again, almost all of the stuff that I've seen performed on stage have been musicals, not just straight up plays, so I don't feel like I have enough of a broad experience base to answer this question in a way that's worthwhile.
What musicals/plays that started in the West End have you not seen but want to check out?
Of the ones that you listed, I have only heard of Matilda, and Matilda was never a big interest of mine, so
Does the David Bowie musical Lazarus intrigue you and Matt?
I've never heard of it, and I can't speak to whether or not Matt is intrigued by it. You would have to ask him.
What's your favorite song from Hamilton?
Helpless.
Who is your favorite character from Hamilton, besides Hamilton himself?
King George, man. He just makes me laugh.
Favorite quote?
Courage is not the absence of fear, but rather the judgment that something else is more important than fear.
Favorite photograph?
This one.
Deadpool or Captain America Civil War?
That's like asking me whether I prefer fireworks or filet mignon. They serve two totally different purposes.
If you and Trappy and Creeper were stranded on an island, who would be in charge?
Me. Duh.
Do you have a favorite Disney live-action movie?
Sky High.
Would you rather have a T-Rex-sized dog or a dog-sized T-Rex?
Probably a dog-sized T-Rex, because the scientific community could learn a hell of a lot of cool stuff by studying a live specimen of an extinct creature. In between me training him and taking care of him and everything, of course. Or her. It could be a lady dinosaur.
Do you play any tabletop RPGs besides D&D?
Pathfinder primarily, and I also occasionally play a game called Rogue Trader, which is based on Warhammer 40k.
If a dog and a dolphin can get along, why can't our mom and his dad?
Again, I feel like this is a reference to something, but I don't get it.
Have you heard of the Nintendo NX?
Nope.
Are you more Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network?
Nickelodeon, but only because my house didn't get Cartoon Network when I was younger, so Nickelodeon was pretty much all I knew, so it's basically the default for me.
Do you ever get tired of hearing the "it's for kids" argument when a really bad kids movie is made?
Yeah, I am. Have you not been paying attention to just about everything I've ever made and my general attitude on life and on media? Yeah. Pisses me off.
Could an adaptation of the Silmarillion, wherein Morgoth is the main character, work?
I don't feel qualified to answer this question because as of the recording of this video, I have not yet finished the Silmarillion.
Have you read Brian Michael Bendis' Jinx or Goldfish?
Nope.
What do you think of Brian Michael Bendis as a writer?
I have not experienced a lot of his writing, but the writing of his that I have experienced, I have enjoyed.
Will you ever return to reviewing games or Newgrounds?
At this point, probably. Yeah, it seems like there's interest in it.
Do you think Dr. Doom should get his own movie?
To paraphrase Movie Bob, Dr. Doom is a dictator and a mad scientist and sometimes a wizard, kind of. Why would you not want that to be made into a movie?
Have you seen Suicide Squad yet?
No, I haven't, and I don't plan on seeing it until I can watch it in such a way that the creators of the movie don't get 1 cent from me.
What's your opinion on creating a profitable animated web series on YouTube?
It is difficult, but certainly not impossible.
What's the worst TV show you've ever seen?
I don't know what the worst TV show I've ever seen is, but the one that pisses me off the most is probably The Big Bang Theory. I don't know, maybe Rocket Power is the worst show I've ever seen. It's kind of a tough call.
What's your opinion on Disney making live-action versions of its movies?
There's no reason why they can't work. The only one of them that I have currently seen is Maleficent, and I thought that movie was actually pretty damn brilliant.
Have you ever received a YouTube comment that made your day?
Oh yeah, I definitely have.
Who would you rather have with you if you had a broken leg? Denethor, Eustace Scrub, or Dolores Umbridge?
I am not familiar with Eustace Scruggs, so I am just going to kind of take him off the list for this one. That being said, I would greatly prefer Denethor over Dolores Umbridge. Denethor wasn't really a bad guy, he just fell under some bad influence.
Which would you choose? $10 million or the ability to speak any 3 languages fluently?
$10 million, and then I would just take a small fraction of that money to pay for language lessons.
How's it going?
It's going alright, I'm doing a Q&A video.
What's one place in the world you'd love to visit?
Pretty much a tie between Germany and New Zealand.
Is the fact that Thanksgiving is immediately followed by Black Friday kind of ironic?
Yes. Yes, it is.
What's the hardest part of making a video?
That depends entirely upon the video itself. Most of the time, I would say the most difficult, or at least the most time-consuming part, is editing, but occasionally the scripting is very difficult as well.
Have you seen the 1977 Rankin Bass Hobbit movie?
Nope.
Do you have any food allergies?
Chocolate, but it's a very minor allergy. I can have some milk chocolate and pretty much all the white chocolate I want because white chocolate doesn't have any cocoa in it.
What's your favorite restaurant?
El Famous Burrito. It's a local Mexican chain, and it's fantastic.
Do you like any of the James Bond movies?
I'm not really into spy movies.
What do you think of the 90s Flash TV series?
Although I do own a copy of it, I have not yet had the chance to watch it. It's a fairly recent acquisition.
If you were a mythical creature, what would you be?
I'd like to be a changeling, that'd be kinda cool. Either that or like a griffin or something.
Favorite Pokemon game?
Pokemon Pinball. I really like pinball.
Favorite retro shows and cartoons?
That depends on what you mean by retro, because retro basically means different things to everybody. Some people are at the right age to consider the 90s as being retro, and that, I don't know. You gotta be more specific when you say something like retro, like give me a specific time span.
If you were weather, what weather would you be?
I don't know whether I would be wondrous weather or wicked weather, but whether I was wicked weather or wondrous weather, you'd just have to weather it.
Can you please calculate my meats?
That joke has been suffering on life support for years. Why won't you monsters just let it die in peace?
What's your favorite thing about the 4Kids Yu-Gi-Oh?
Invisible guns.
Of the Disney Direct DVDs you've reviewed, what was the best and what was the worst?
The best was The Lion King. The worst was probably Mulan 2.
Have you seen the Princess Moana trailer?
Nope.
Who's your favorite Marvel/DC superhero?
These two.
Supervillain?
These two.
Whatever happened to Superhero Month?
I keep meaning to go back to it, but I have kind of a really big plan for an eventual superhero month, and it's just taking me a while to get it to the point that I think it's written well enough that I will be able to do the subject matter justice.
Do you read fan fiction?
I do.
What are your thoughts on Star Wars Rogue One?
That sure is a movie I haven't seen yet, and thus can't offer any opinions on.
What's your favorite bridge?
There's a small bridge in one of my family members' gardens that I really like. And that is all the short answer questions. Remember to come back tomorrow for the long answer ones. And until next time, Code Monkeys and fellow VEDSies, I will see you tomorrow.